We want you to reach the place where the satisfaction factor is so important to you that you're willing to look into the ethers of what is in the state of becoming rather than need to look at the reality. If you don't need others to say, oh yeah, I've seen it. In other words, if you don't need a large group of people to agree that you've already got it or that it already is, or that it's a good thing to want, then you become so liberated in your ability to create. But if you need it to already be before you believe it, then you slow yourself way, way down, and mostly you only come to believe in what others have created. When you only believe in what others have created, then first of all, you're not very original. And second of all, you have very little satisfaction in your life because, and this is the most important thing that we want you to take away from this day, what satisfies you, what feels good to you, is only a desire that you've given birth to and your closing of the gap toward it. For you to watch others get what they want is not satisfying to you. It's only when your life produces a desire within you, and then you find a way to focus and allow that desire to turn to the things in your life that you feel real satisfaction. That's why you may really, really want something, and by some interesting set of circumstances, some kind-hearted person might give it to you. Maybe you complained enough that it was just survival for them. So they find a way to be your path of least resistance, and they provide it for you, and it is not satisfying to you, not for long, because the only way that satisfaction will ever come to you is when your life has produced a desire. That's step one, that's asking. And Source has planned out the route for you to accomplish it. That's step two. When you ask, it is given. And then step three is you must find a way to focus your mind in belief of what you desire and maintain that belief consistently enough that you stay out of the way of it so that you don't keep blocking it, because that's how thoughts turn to things. Now, this is an odd statement, thoughts turning to things, to people who are mostly looking at the things that have already turned out. Because most of the world is just looking at things, and they don't want to have a conversation about what existed before the thing was the thing. But if you're going to be a deliberate creator, you've got to be willing to accept that before the thing was a thing, it was a different thing. It was a vibration. It was a softer thing. It was a more subtle thing. It was a less defined thing. It was a less specific thing. It was a vibrational thing that existed that was focused upon enough without contradiction that it evolved into what you call your reality. When you begin to understand that you are the creator and that the satisfaction is in the new idea, that you then find a vibrational stance that allows that creation to be, so that you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, and others can too. When you get that that's what the satisfaction factor is, that that's why you came into this physical experience, then and only then will you begin to fulfill your reason for being. And then and only then will your life be fun, satisfying. Then and only then will you feel the vigor of life that you felt when you first got here. There is nothing off limits for you. There is nothing that is outside your ability to be it or have it or create it. In other words, you get to be, do, or have anything that you choose. And this life experience is all queued up to help you in the process of it. And so now, as you begin taking these baby steps where you'll talk about blue glass and feathers and butterflies, and then you'll watch the universe deliver them to you as if to say, oh, you said you wanted that, here's some of that. Or you said you wanted that, here's some of that. Here's some of that. Here's some of that. As you begin to make the association between the life that you lived that caused a desire to formulate within you, and then the willingness to focus in a way that you felt satisfaction in that desire, and then you discover that that was all that was required for the cooperative universe to yield to you the pieces for it to be more satisfying and more satisfying and more satisfying, then you're off and running. Then you're creating your own reality. Esther said to a friend the other day, "Ooh, I'm feeling so invincible, and I'm feeling so powerful. And I'm watching world events, and I'm watching events up close to me and sort of far away from me. And now I realize that my work is to live enough life to decide how I want to focus, what it is I want to become. I don't want to run over the tops of others who are creating their own reality. I only want to create my own reality, and I want others to create their own reality. And I want us to all understand that we don't get in the way of each other's reality. Ooh, that's so big we want to shout it at you. You don't get in the way of each other's reality. You only get in the way of your own reality, you see. So if you can let others just be whoever they be and choose whatever they choose, whether they're choosing it deliberately or by default, and you give your attention to what you want, and you practice holding your thoughts in a place that feels satisfying to you, and then you watch the universal forces bring to you the path of discovery and the path of being and doing and having, you will discover your personal awareness of your power and your importance and your reason for being. So, what do you want to talk about?
Thank you. Wonderful to be here.
Yes.
So, I've been working on financial abundance for a while. I've had some great manifestation success with that. And I've now got 2 businesses that both could be very financially lucrative.
Are they fun?
One more than another, and that's what I'm trying to figure out.
More will come from the fun one.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
In other words, you don't need to give up one for the other, but if one isn't fun, it's messing with the other.
Yeah. The one that's more fun is one that pretty much came to me, and others are involved, and it kind of hits all the buttons of things that I'm interested in and excited about. And the other one is something that I've tried a few times and have had challenges with. And
So you've got resistance in it, which is keeping it from being fun.
Yeah.
So make it fun or let it go. It's good advice.
Yeah.
Have fun with it or let it go. Have fun with him or let him go. Mm-hmm. Have fun with her or let her go. Have fun with it or let it go.
Yeah.
Meaning, person, place, thing, idea, whatever it is, have fun with it or let it go. As long as you're having fun with it, then the momentum is positive and it will get better and better. If you're not having a good time with it, then it's evoking effort from you, and then the effort just makes you tired and keeps you from having fun.
Yeah. I'm feeling too, that maybe some of my conflicting thoughts around it are around my coming into alignment with financial abundance in general. And that, but yeah, that's part of it. I keep questioning, is that the right vehicle? Do I need to change it in some way?
Well, find the vehicle and make it right.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in a unfun way looking around for the right vehicle, and when you find it, you feel fun. You get fun, find a vehicle, and your fun makes it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Source energy can flow toward anything, and when source energy flows, this is what happens when source energy flows to something through you. It expands, it becomes more interesting, it gathers more cooperative components, it gathers momentum, it becomes more. That's just what happens with your focus. And so if something's already got your focus pinched off because you already have beliefs about it that aren't letting it flow, then sometimes it's just easier to let it go and give your attention to something else. We can tell that we're having a pretty strong conversation about effort versus trusting, about letting it be rather than making it be. And it's also a strong conversation or evidence of a belief. It's sort of like pushing the noodle. It's the difference between allowing it to unfold and trying to make it unfold. And there's a belief within you, it's within a lot of people, that says, my attention to it and my effort factor are what are going to make this go. And we say, it's actually the other way around. It's your absence of resistance that's going to let something that you want go. It's not your attention to it and your hard work and effort that makes it go. And people don't get that because there is a certain action factor that does make the difference. In other words, you could line people up with something to move from one place to another, and a strong person could pick it up and move it faster than a weaker person. Someone more determined is going to move that physical thing further. But that's not the game you play in. You're playing in a game of higher stakes with faster currents and energies and bigger repercussions and bigger results than just moving something from one place to another. So don't let yourself be confused about what a little bit of mediocre action can accomplish in relationship with what true alignment to the energy that creates worlds can accomplish. And sometimes people sacrifice their alignment and all of that power for just using their brute strength or willingness to dig in with their minds to accomplish something. Did you hear that? And you know how you can tell the difference? By how it feels. If it feels hard, it isn't working. If it feels hard, you're working. It isn't working. Allowing the universe to provide is really what you're wanting to have at the basis of all of this. You're thinking things into being. You're not doing things into being. You're finding a vibration that then allows a thought. And when you receive the thought, which inspires an action, that's a whole other thing than making something happen by realizing that you've got to dig in and make it happen. Can you feel the difference? And you've been sort of presenting those choices to us in the conversation all along here just now.
Yeah.
It would be like saying, I've lived enough life to know what I want relative to, let's say, a relationship. Just stay with us for a moment. And I don't currently have that dominant, significant relationship that I want, but I've lived enough life and I've put it into the vortex. So now I'm going to trust the universe to yield it to me through my path of least resistance. And then you get an idea. I'm going to do online dating. Well, you want to ask yourself, where did that idea come from? Did it come from here or did it come from here? Is it effort? Is it logic and statistics, or was it truly an inspired thought? Or I'm wanting to create a magnificent business enterprise, and I put all of my desires and interests into my vortex, and then I get an idea. Well, did the idea come from alignment, or is it an action-oriented idea that I've tried before? You have to play with this a little bit before you know the difference. Just have to play with it for a while. And soon you'll be able to tell the difference about where the impulse is coming from the receiving mode of my connection with Source, or from the receiving mode of me just being tired of not having what I want. You're always in some receiving mode because your tuner is always on. You just want to be aware of what you've got it tuned to. And you can tell that in a pretty accurate way by just assessing what's my general mood been today. If I've been just sort of awkward in my being and ornery and disappointed about life and discouraged and halfway depressed, it's a pretty good sign that every idea you got came from here, not here. What's my mood? And if that's been your mood, then when you go to bed tonight, say, I'm going to leave these thoughts and these moods somewhere else, because while I sleep, the momentum of all of that will subside. And when I awaken, I'm going to be in a new place. And then when you wake up, acknowledge that you're in a new place. And if you can find time to meditate for 15 minutes, and we know you can, quiet your mind and reset yourself, and then notice how this day plays out. We've been talking about meditation with you all a lot today, and we know that these are only words to you until you've actually quieted your mind and gotten to that place where you are actually feeling detached from your body, and where you can actually feel yourself feeling different than you have felt in terms of consciousness, and where you're detached enough that you really can't tell your toe from your nose. In other words, you can feel that you're in that different space, and then an idea occurs to you and feels good when it occurs, and then produces really good experience as you follow through with it. Until you've actually had that experience, then you don't know what we're talking about here. You haven't personally and consciously accessed the energy that creates worlds for your personal creation. And so Esther's been noticing there are a couple of people in her life that she really likes a lot and thinks a lot about, and they are often presenting to her a conundrum that they can't quite work through. And she's been wanting so much for them to discover the magic and the clarity and the power of meditation, but they just don't quite go there. They just don't quite go there. Someone gave her a really good analogy the other day. It's like getting in your car to go somewhere and refusing to bring your keys. So you almost got it all right. You went to the garage, you got in the vehicle, you opened the garage door, but you refused to bring your keys.